Okay, so I have a couple different things I want to talk about. Well, one of the things I want to, I gotta start. I kept thinking, like, where do I start when you got all these like random things? But this one I'm gonna start because I've been talking so much about blocking people, anyways. And so yesterday this happened. Well, I had to block. I mean, TikTok, I always have to block people. That's all day long. But on here, that doesn't. I mean, I rarely have ever had to block anybody, and one of the people was somebody who they emailed me all the time, and long emails, and they were lonely, they had a lot of problems and stuff, and I would email them back and stuff. And then one of the days I said something that was something she didn't agree with, and she totally attacked me. She just went completely crazy. But I knew, she had, a tendency to be a little unstable from her emails. But she totally went crazy and started being really rude to me and saying just really mean, hateful things. I didn't even finish reading her stuff. I just, deleted her email and stopped corresponding with her. And then I think the next day I said, I've got nothing to say. And so, she kind of appeared to seem to kind of go away. And then Ray, he would come in and email me sometimes, and he would be kind of like, well, you could just tell he didn't agree with me about anything I said. And, since I started this, I have said, because when I did stuff talking about the flat earth, how I would get attacked. And I said, how odd it is to sit and listen to people you don't like, you don't appreciate, you're not in alignment with, to sit and listen to them just so you get angry. And, it's like, I don't get it. And so, and then when people can't stop themselves and seem obsessive, like, I hate you, but I've got to listen. It's like, okay, that's kind of mental. And so to me, it's always like, hey, I'll do you a favor. I'll block you for me. I'll block me for you. You don't have to worry about it. I'll get you out of my hair, or get me out of your hair. And so at first, because I was getting totally attacked on the one, and then Ray came in on this one. The thing is about Ray too, is that in one of his posts a few weeks ago, when he had done a comment, that other person came into his comment and like backed up what he said. But I recognized the name off of the email, and I thought, okay, that's not a coincidence. She's still lingering. And now she's trying to, draw people into her side or something. And so I was just like, okay, well, I just went in and blocked her email. But, I'm not stupid. I know people go start emails. I mean, I'm with the group of people who are censored, who start accounts over and over and over and over so that they can access certain things. So I was like, okay, it's not that hard for her to go start another account and, just be right back. I don't know how obsessive this person is. And, that's the thing, is like, you have to learn to master your emotions and stuff. You have to accept people not agreeing with you and not take it personally. And you have to accept everybody for just how they see things, what they believe or whatever. That's their right. It's their God-given right to believe what they want to believe. And everybody's on their own journey to, and some things don't fucking matter. It has nothing to do with certain people's journey, but it is these hot topics that they just want us to divide on all the time. And so, they'll push things that, a lot of people don't give a fuck about. It's not anything that anybody would even give a shit about. And so, the people who can't manage themselves, then it is, so yesterday, I had already blocked the one girl. I had stopped listening to her emails and thought she had gone away, but then I think she's still lingering. and still coming in and probably watching and getting mad and wants to, it's like, man, it's weird when people put energy into hate. But then to go in and, try and get other people on her side, which I'm pretty sure is what happened. So anyways, at first when I told Ray, Ray, just stop coming and watching me. There's no reason to go in and watch somebody who's irritating you. There's way, way too many people out there who are giving information. You can go out and find so many sources of information that you're looking for at this point. And he didn't say anything. A lot of times he'll just come in and say snotty stuff, and then he just won't say anything until the next time he comes in and says snotty stuff. And so, it was morning time, so I'm going back and forth, on my notifications and stuff. And I had a lot on TikTok that were just, snotty, which I'll talk more about on that. But all of a sudden I was just like, you know what? I deserve better than this. I don't deserve to have somebody come in and wreck my day, come in and just say something rude to me for no reason. Like, if all you want to do is spread hate and rude stuff, keep it in your own stuff. Keep it in you. You want to be hateful? Leave it where it comes from. We don't need to be participating in your hatefulness. If you got nothing nice to say, then just don't say anything. There's no reason to go in and constantly attack people. And then to think that people need to change into what you're comfortable with. And so, anyways, I was just like, you know what? I deserve better than this. And I'm going to, I don't want to see your rude, hateful comments anymore. So, bye. And I blocked him. And, but it felt empowering. Like I was taking a stand for my own mental health. And, and it is sad that it comes to that, because he had been there a long time. And it's so crazy too, because like Mr. Wolf, he was like, I think the first person who ever started interacting with me. And then I think, he outgrew me at some point and he was like not into it anymore, but he was very interactive in the beginning and talking. Ray was, and there's people who have been around. I don't think Mr. Wolf's around anymore. I think he is long gone. But, when we have been here going through this, but I don't know Ray's personal stuff. I mean, I may have been on the bottom of the totem pole on what he ever listened to or whatever. But the fact, that he felt like he needed to come in and say rude stuff to me when he listened, I was like, no, dude, I'm done with it. I don't need rude people around me anymore. Like, keep it to yourself. And if you are, that hateful, that you just got to be saying hateful stuff all the time. You need to do some work, which is shocking for somebody who's been listening to me for a couple years. And that's as far as you've gotten, is to still sit there and say hateful stuff to people. Like, I would have hoped you had gotten a little further, but, each person has to do the work. I can tell you how to do it, but I can't force you to do it. You have to do it for yourself. And you have to desire to feel better, to understand that you can do things to improve your life, no matter what you feel your status is or whatever. It all has to do with attitude and perspective, and the challenges and all the trauma and stuff. It is a part of your existence for you to get over, to learn about yourself, to see yourself. Like, what do people think? Just need to see yourself be crowned every life. Like, oh, I'm so wonderful. I'm so wonderful. Every time I'm wonderful. That's not realistic. You are all things. You're not just a wonderful thing. And so you have, there's a lot to you. You're a big bag of tricks. There's nothing to keep you small and limited other than, yourself. And so anyways, and then on the TikTok one, man, it's mental. Seriously. I mean, you have a huge amount of trans people now coming out who want to distance themselves from the agenda. Gay people too are coming out and saying, hey, don't involve me in this crazy stuff. I think kids can figure it out for themselves as well. I did it for myself. I don't need, teachers and, a class on it, books in the library. Most people don't need all that shit. It's a natural progression to figure out who you are. And when they're doing something different, that's indoctrination and programming. And, people have to notice. And then when you notice, then the bully regime is out there to keep you in your place. And the bully regime is, very, very controlled, indoctrinated to the point of like MK Ultra. Like they're not even thinking for themselves. I swear to God, it is mental. I can't believe how they will come in and totally, they'll go for whatever is obvious. And so to me, they go in straight up with the old lady. Old lady, just shut up, old lady. You don't have a say over anything. Old lady, old boomers, they don't have any fucking, you have no value in this society. So shut the fuck up, you old lady. And biology, by the way, is, that's an old fashioned thing. That's not real. That's just something you old people thought was real. What the fuck? What have you done to these people's brains? Like, what in the hell? So you are going to come around on a mission to get everybody to agree with you and everybody put in their place. Nobody should be allowed to say anything. Because believe you me, if I was fat, I'd be hearing, hey, fat lady, you got no say. If I was, they're not so much on the dark skin. They're not going to come in and attack your skin color unless you're saying something off the narrative. Then, you are not there for the rest of your people. They have attacks for all these different things. It's crazy. But it is, okay, they don't even fucking think. Like, all of a sudden now biology doesn't exist. Biology no longer exists for these people. That's just a pretend thing that we came up with because of our narcissism, that we needed to be gendered. No other species in the world is gendered. Just humans who need this fake biology to gender themselves because they're so narcissistic. It's like, what are they teaching you people? Like, you guys are kind of creepy. Like children of the corn shit, man. Like, what the fuck? And so and there's no fucking, you can't, I mean, you could spend all day long trying to say something rational to them. No, they just spin back around. Well, you're old and you don't have a say and you don't know what you're talking about because you're old. I can't even tell you how many times I've gotten told that I'm old, which is a hilarious thing too, is all these people now are talking about the copper and the aging and the chemicals and the aging, and there's nothing here to age us except for the chemicals, and like they're doing it on purpose, just as I said, and implanting it into your head. So we're aging ourselves by toxic lifestyles and the belief that, like the silver hair makes me old, instead of being like, oh, I need some copper, because the copper deficiency turns your hair silver, turns your skin saggy, it makes you have hemorrhoids and varicose veins. So all these things that people think have to do with aging is really a copper deficiency, which, I think my hair isn't just turning gray from, mine is a genetic thing that happens in my family, that on my mom's side, this part right here, it turns silver. My grandma's turned silver at a young age. And so anyways, I'm going to still, drink the copper water because I've been doing it. I don't leave it as long as I did before. Yesterday too, man, I was feeling so sick. Stella was feeling so sick. And I was, I did the diatomaceous earth. I have a spoonful in my tea, and I was having the worst stomach ache. Stella, oh man, it was rough. Fuck, it was rough. And Stella was too. And I was like, I can tell. It's like when I'm waking up and just fucking sneezing, like, and feeling things crawling around my fucking face. So I uh, then I just was feeling so sick, and nothing was happening. And it was like, man, because I felt like it was all these parasites inside of me. Like I could feel things moving around. It was creepy. I was really getting creeped out. And I had to keep being like, okay, stop thinking about this. You're going to really fucking psych yourself out. You sit there and focus on these things crawling around in you, because you can feel things crawling around in you. Just stop thinking about it. You're going to have yourself freaked out. You know, where you see these people, they're peeling their skin off. There's something in there. It's like, fuck yeah, there is. And, you know, and that's going on. There is people who are, you know, being attacked under the bots. Like, you can find people talking about it and going to doctors and stuff. And doctors, oh, I don't know what's going on. You know, I bet you don't. Why don't you go cash another pharmaceutical check, you fucking dick. And then, let me think. I'm like spinning all over the place because there was a bunch of different things. So let me think, because I keep going back now to this other girl. So there's these young ones that were, you know, and I went on and looked at their account and saw that they were young. Oh yeah, because the old thing is, it's going to be pretty funny, is because now everybody's saying, you know, like as they are healing and they're getting detoxing and stuff, they're starting to realize like, man, I'm looking younger. I've noticed the same thing. Like if I look at pictures of me, I look older than I do now. I feel like, yeah, there is something to this. Like, your skin gets better, your hair gets better. But don't forget, we're also fighting all these chemicals still on the daily. You know, I mean, it's like we're drowning in chemicals. So, but the more that you detox and raise your vibration, and the more you detach from the paradigm of aging and death and what they've convinced people of, it is, you know, it will change you. You will start changing. And so, there's a whole thing about, you know, that we are getting younger now and we're not getting older. And they're doing a lot of things jacking around with time. Like there's weird stuff. Like I can't believe how long some of these days are. And the other day I had some new cilantro and I put it out and I had cut some up and put it on something. And then I left it out. I thought, well, I'll make salsa tomorrow. When I got up in the morning, it was like that cilantro was like a fucking month old. I couldn't believe it. I was like, what is going on with time here? Like, this is tripping me out, man. And, because there's other things. There is like I've had a bunch of different things like that where it's like, this has been longer than a fucking certain amount of hours that, you know, I think, and there's a lot of people who are noticing the same thing, you know, but, also that is another thing of like, I mean, time isn't real. So as more as you wake up, the more you're going to start noticing like, oh, this isn't real. This isn't real. This isn't real, because it's part of, you know, the awakening of realizing. But so these people who are sitting there calling me old and stuff like that, I mean, they're about to find out I'm just getting started. 60's nothing. 60's like reaching adult. I think those of us who understand we're going to be living for a couple hundred years at this point. I mean, there's going to be people who can live, I think it'll go back, you could live 600 or 800 years. I think there will be a point where, you know, some people will be like, okay, well, I've pretty much done everything here, you know, but then in some of these other places, you know, you have people that stay in their groups forever and ever, you know, go to other lives and stuff. So I don't know what this one's exactly going to come to, if it is going to be just like another heavenly body where, you know, people just linger there, you know, like you pass from one lower vibration and you go into this one, then it'll be a place where a lot of people will linger around and hang out and develop into its own place. And maybe that is what's going to go down, because the Galactic Federation, there's a whole big thing about that, us moving into that. So I don't know. I mean, I would imagine that after a few hundred years, people might get bored, but I don't know. I mean, they may say, well, I'm going to go somewhere else. And I don't even know that we would ever have to die, or if we're going to just be at that point so aware of us ourselves, that we would just be able to move around from reality to reality in that vibration. That's the thing, is you got to remember, these high vibration people can move all around in their high vibration areas. It's when they come down here in this low density place. And that's probably why they're hanging out in the sky, waiting for us to raise it a little bit more, because it's very hard to be a high vibration and come into a low vibration. But I'll tell you what, they're fucking all around. I don't know who the hell. I was like, yesterday, it was crazy. I mean, they're fucking popping out everywhere. And you turn your head, and there's one right there. It's like, oh my fucking God. And so like back over here, any place, I mean, the people who have said that, where if you have something hanging or someplace where they can hide, like a lizard, a chameleon, that they will just blend into different places. But you'll catch it out of the side of your eye, or a movement, something. You'll see, and yeah, I think they get a mob mentality, just like these people who have this gang thing going on. But energetically, I'm not saying that they energetically, that if there's a lot of a certain energy around, it's going to pull in more of that energy. And so I just reached a point, I was really frustrated. Stella was having just a really hard day, and so I ain't trying to be on my phone and look on TikTok, and shocking my hands. I have to set my phone over here. And then while I'm doing that, my head starts tingling, and it's like, I can't handle looking on it for very long. And so I was just like, fuck that. I'm going to just plug in my phone, put on the meditations, and just kind of lay here and relax. And lit a bunch of incense and was laying there. And then immediately Stella has to get up and whine and cry and walk around and all this stuff. And it's like, oh, every time I want to sit down. And so, whatever it was, while I was doing the incense and she was doing that, all of a sudden I just saw all of these different, I felt like I was so surrounded. It really irritated me. And so, and I saw something down the hall, and then, I heard, to do the sage. And so I started doing a big old ceremony. I did a big old ceremony. And it's so crazy too, though, because while I was sitting there doing it, I was thinking, we're a fucking hologram. This is like this, how much of this shit is just because we think we need to do it or something. Like, but I don't know how to push back some of these beings or energies or whatever it is. I don't even know. I don't know why there's so fucking many. And so I, while Stella was having such a hard time too, that I was like, somebody is fucking with her to get to me. So you fuck with her so that you can disrupt me. And, especially when I think they know a certain energy is in movement. And so they want to disrupt this energy. And so they are, I think they use Stella to disrupt me, because the constant, especially like you try and sit down and relax for a minute, and then immediately, it's just this nonstop, constant pushing me, like all night long and shit like that. And, and I think it's to keep me, I think that they want to keep it to, I'm not saying every single one of them. There's a certain energy, though, that wants to keep me unsteady. And I don't know if, it's to disrupt something. But, you can't stop destiny. Destiny overrides any of that shit. Like, what it is disrupts your mental state so that you struggle more. That's what everything is about, mastering your mental state. And so when I started doing this ceremony thing, and I was telling him to get the fuck off of her, leave her alone, quit attacking her, quit making her sick, and I called him out on what was going on and stuff. And I was doing the sage thing, and I was like, okay, this isn't enough. I mean, I didn't feel like they were still around. So then I had to go into my soul and then go into my heart center, like pull myself into there, and then come out from there as the energy. And so use my energy to push back. And so I did that. And at the same time, use your mind to push back, as a bell, kind of, as a reverberation, a bell, command your space and stuff. And it was even to the point I asked the Galactic Federation to come and fucking do something. I asked for protection. I asked for the light to come in and surround me. And there was a lot of things that I had to do visually and all sorts of stuff. And there were so many things where I was like, man, things only work to the degree you think they work. And I don't know that smudging and stuff really does that much. Like, yeah, I don't know. I mean, there's just so many fucking beings around all the fucking time. And they're not like, it isn't like Pleiades people. It doesn't seem like that. Like they're just waiting to talk. It feels like it is it feels like a party where a lot of people show up that you don't know. That's what it feels like. And so, anyways, dealing with that all yesterday. But I'll tell you what, after that ceremony, she slept all fucking night. I think she woke up one time, and I think it was the fucking TV. That's what I should have told him too. Keep the fuck off my TV. Like, what the hell? Put meditation or sleep music on, and then in the middle of the fucking night, all of a sudden, come on, are you still watching? Well, I'm sleeping. I was tuned in to my, like you can feel it. And if you're on those delta, alpha, beta waves, whatever, with your brain, and it stops, you fucking feel it, man, I'll tell you. Or maybe I just have a real strong or a weakness to it or something. I don't know. But so in these attacks on the TikTok, there was this one girl who came in and she starts, telling me, so she's from, because you got to remember, like I said before, you got the super spirits. They're also from the progressives. And so they make no sense. They make no sense. But so she was, I don't know if she was trans or whatever. I mean, I've seen now where people are like, fuck, I got trans people, drag queens, I got everything in my family, I've got friends, all of it. And this is some fucking bullshit. Y'all need to stop. Like, people know it's not the main of the people. The majority of the people are just trying to live their lives. This is these bullies. It's the, it's like the brown shirts or something coming in to keep us all in line, tell us what we better do and how we better think, and you go off the narrative. And it's so crazy because these people just do it automatically. They don't need to be told, even though, Bill or Joe wants to, give him a office in his administration so that they can have meetings and tell them what's required, what they need to do. It's like, dude, we already know that you're doing this. I mean, the bots, which I think it's, pretty coincidental that they're a BOT. It said the same as BOUGHT. It's like, because they are bought. They're bought and paid for. And they are bullies and they come in and just attack. But these ones lately are actual people who have real accounts. And so, and this girl, she was one of those. And so she said something. I don't even remember. I guess so many of these fucking rude ass things. She said something. And I said something back. I don't remember what. I don't go into fight with them. But I will acknowledge them. But I'll say what comes in my mind because they're always telling me what to say. And sometimes I don't even know what the hell, but I know that they're saying something that person needs to hear. But it's also a lot of triggers. So this girl, when I answered her, she did a video thing. So because before I had Nerdy White Guy, he had done that. And think about this too. I mean, my fucking account has stayed. I mean, nothing changes on the followers. Even on this one video that I'm going to talk about here in a second, It's going fast. Every time they stop it. When it gets to 200, this one was going too much, so they stopped it at 500. The 500 views. So, when I'm going on and looking at people's TikToks, there would be 500 likes, 500 views. Like I'm in a fucking closet, and it's aggravating as fuck. I'm in a closet on here. I'm in a closet on there. It's just like, God damn, so aggravating. But so Nerdy White Guy, when he had come in to start, and that was over the sun. And then the other guy, I can't remember what his beef, but he was, let me know he was really supportive of me, but he wanted to add in something. And I haven't seen him. And like I said, I know he had AIDS, so I'm not sure. I mean, so many people are passing, and so I'm not sure, if I haven't seen him because he's passed. But I haven't seen him in a while. But this girl came in doing the same thing with these videos. And I see this shit on TikTok where these people just trying to start these battles on TikTok, these drama battles with somebody who thinks differently than you, so that they can draw in the mob. And I'm not about that life. No, I don't need that shit. So I just, as soon as I saw the video, or she's giving me a video telling me, about, well, you act like you're spiritual. But as a spiritual person does this. A spiritual person does that, And she was so, coming at me, telling me who I needed to be, how I needed to be spiritual or whatever. It only took me a couple seconds. But I was like, fuck this. And went out of that. And then just blocked her right away. I was like, no, I'm not having your fucking mob come in here. No, I want nothing to do with you, sister. And so then I did a couple videos, not directly to her, but to that kind of energy. Is like, if anybody who is truly spiritual, who understands spirituality, understands it's a personal journey, and it is a beautiful personal journey that no matter what step you're on, it is your step. It is your experience, and you don't ever ridicule anybody about, where they're at in their journey. It's their journey. The problem is, what we're trying to scream out about is that they're programming children instead of letting children have their journey. They're doing this hardcore programming, and how many people will accept it. And when the rest of us are saying no, and some people think it's like the Christians or whatever. Well, maybe it is just the people who understand that you have a soul and you're here to have an experience, not just be a product of your environment. And so, if that, I think a lot of these people just don't understand, like what any of the whole thing is. They're so in the shallow. They're not going any deeper. They don't look at things in a bigger perspective. But, as a spiritual journey, don't let anybody put you down or tell you, you need to do this, you need to do that. That's what I said with these super spirits that think they're spiritual. And then they tell you, well, you have to be vegan. You have to do this. It's love and light. And, there's a big one now, I guess, going around too, that when this stuff goes down, they won't be there. They're already in this other dimensional space, they say, and all of us are just having this experience. So they're not with us anymore, they say. That, we're on our own on this thing. It's like, okay, I'm just curious. Like, do ostriches think they're still there? Like, I don't know. It's curious. But anyways, these people, that they think you have to follow their rules. You have to be this way and stuff like that. It's like, where do your rules come from? You personally, like, you've got the upper hand on all this. Like, everything. And, I was one of the things that aggravated me so much from the beginning, is where they kept telling people, you have to be vegan. No, do not ever tell somebody to go, you have to change your eating. especially that is a personal thing that you will figure out, like tuning into your body. Your body will tell you. And people have got to have respect for DNA and what it is inside of you that you're programmed that you need. There is, a programmed part of you. Like I had said before, there's a reason why you are drawn to the certain foods or whatever that you're drawn to. It's a part of your being. And in this, and you got to follow what your body or your being or whatever, what it's saying. Not because somebody says, oh, you're a good person if you do this. No, that's a personal choice. And if that is the direction, it will become apparent to you. It will become really clear. Food, like for me, meat just was disgusting. Chewing it and stuff, and it was just like, ugh, it grossed me out. That's what will happen. You don't have to force it, because you need to let your body naturally is like, all of a sudden, somebody else is going to jump in the water and they tell you to hold your breath. And, you're sitting there holding your breath. By the time you get in, you're not going to have any breath. So you got to listen to yourself, not listen to them and what they're doing. Your body knows naturally, just like everything in your body knows naturally what to do. It knows when to breathe. It knows when to have its heart beat. You don't have to do much to tell it to get up and walk. You don't have to do much to go sit down on the toilet and go pee. It's like it pretty much knows what to do. And so it's the same thing with your soul, your sight. You don't need someone else to tell you to do. But if that's your journey, is to have someone else tell you, that is for you to understand about yourself and to pull free. That's a paradigm that you would be here working on. I would say, if you're very much feel like you have to listen to what other people tell you and you have to do what they say, it is time for you to question, like, why would I do that? Who am I trying to get to like me? And that's a big thing that is going to keep coming up, is for people to start understanding, like, look at things from a different perspective. When somebody, you're all on board for this certain thing, drag shows in schools or whatever, and you think, oh yeah, that's no big deal. I can't even tell you how many people come in and tell me. Like, that is no big deal. There is way bigger problems in the world. Oh my God. You sit and worry about that? What are you, some kind of mental? And so, if it was, though, it wasn't your friend group that was saying that was a good thing. If it was somebody you didn't like, you think about, like, if it was like Uncle Joe, and he said, he loves those drag shows at the school. Like, that's the best thing ever. And that's the best. He wants them in every school. And, he was pushing hard on that. And nobody else was, just him. Would you feel the same? Like, really try and understand about your feelings inside of you and how much you are just associating how you feel with a group. And, that's where you got to pull free to an independence. And it's going to be uncomfortable. When you need everybody else's support, it's going to be hard to get to a space where you feel confident in who you are, because you need all these other people to keep telling you, but you don't realize how much you're giving away to get that response. And you don't even know you're giving stuff away, because you're not in touch with how you feel about things. You're just going along for the ride. And so it's important. And these groups that are falling apart pushes you into that space of having to think about it in that kind of perspective. But, so many people are going to be fighting that, and they're going to see it as like a negative thing. Like, it's going to be hard, and not going to just look at it as like, oh, this is wonderful. So this group is falling apart, so I can re-identify myself as an individual rather than a part of a group. People won't understand. Like, they're going to fight it. They're going to, be mad, like attack people. Like, it's going to be hard for people to get themselves into a logical state of mind. And especially to me, I mean, somebody's going to have to claim responsibility for teaching children that biology doesn't exist. Like the nonsense that they have programmed into these kids, someone's going to take responsibility. And there is kids now, there is younger adults who are saying, we haven't even got to see now the repercussions of what we've all been doing, what we've been making choices. When we see that, there's going to be some harm done. Like, we're going to start seeing a lot of problems from all these mass amount of kids who are transitioning. Like, there's going to be a huge reverberation from that energy. And there's going to be a lot of blame, man. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to have to take responsibility for, the part you played. And that's the thing, is people don't realize they're playing a part because they're so out of touch with themselves. They don't know how they feel about something. They think that they feel like the group feels. And that's why I said it's a beautiful thing, is you watch these people begin to realize, like, hey, I don't agree with you. I don't agree on this. I don't agree on that. And then to take the willpower to go in and take a stand on how they feel, even though they know they're going to be attacked, because trans people, gay people, they're all attacked by the same group that we're all attacked by. As soon as you go anything against the narrative, you're attacked. And in these people in their fucking extreme ego, especially these ones who think that they are spiritual, they've got all the answers, and we're just judgmental. I think it's, for people to tell me that I'm judgmental against trans people or gay people, it's like, you don't fucking know me. Like, I can't even, how many people come in and tell me something about me, and it's like, that's a lot of assumption for somebody you don't fucking know. Like, you don't know me. And, the last thing I would do ever is judge anybody on stuff like that. Like, I understand it on a level. That's the thing, is I'm trying to broaden people's perspective. I'm trying to help people learn to heal and live a better life. And, the big part of that is accepting people. It's not controlling people. We're breaking free from control. And so, these people, they just come in and they'll just say whatever. They just want to fight. They just want to argue with you. They just want to put you in your place. And they don't realize they're so bigoted. Like, I'm telling you, if I was overweight, they would be coming in and telling me I was fat. If I wore glasses, they would call me Four Eyes. I mean, that's where we're at. And so, in the actual childish, because they are children. And then we're going to see a lot of people are children until they're like 40, 45, 50 years old. And so, as we begin to age slower and start to really put more time and effort into our development, you'll see, like, the age that I am, like, that is going to be like the adult. That's going to be adulting more. It's like you've reached adulthood when you get to be more 60s, 70s, probably even some 80s. I mean, people who are in 90s and 100, like, they've got some fucking experience. Pushing them aside like they've got no value or no worth, that's just plain ass ignorance. So there's going to be a big turn where these kids who are going around like a mob are all of a sudden going to be put in their place, and they're going to see, like, you're children. It's time for the grown-ups to talk. So it's time for you to sit down and listen. Now it's going to be hard. You're going to have to put your hands under your legs, because one thing too is, I think they're called Gen Z. I think they're like the ones who are more like my older grandkids' age. But it could be people in their 20s. I don't even know, like, the thing or the ages of all these people. But this girl was talking about, she's a podcaster, and she's a Gen Z, I think they call them. And she said that it is the generation with the most mental health problems. And then she pulled up all these different studies and stuff. And so they are on the most medication. They've got the most anxiety, all of this stuff. because they have been pulled into a virtual world of artificial, superficial nonsense. There's nothing real. Of course, they're all confused. They're being manipulated, and they're angry because their soul knows that something's not right here. They don't know what it is. I mean, they think it's the people who are trying to ridicule them, put them down. They can't realize, no, we're trying to set some boundaries here. Let kids develop themselves. Don't push your fucking agenda on children. And so, but that is something that, a programmed mind can't accept certain information. It doesn't make any sense. And so, but this awakening continues to occur. All I'm saying is that we're going to go into a space where, it's going to flip the other direction. All this disrespect on people who are older is going to switch. There's going to be a lot more respect. And besides the fact, I'm nowhere close to dying. I've got a long ways to go. I mean, I know that I'm here for this next part. And so, I'm assuming we're going to live hundreds of years. This is kind of essentially graduating from high school at this age, going into this new era. It's just like you're just getting started in life. And, I think that there would be people who would be 70 or 80 who, once they go through the med beds too, and then they grow back their uteruses and all their cells and everything is, there'll be older people probably who will get pregnant. And it's going to be like, what? That is so weird. Oh my God, 80-year-old pregnant person? It's going to be a lot for people to wrap their heads around. But it is going to be, I think a lot of people who have already raised their kids who are gotten older, won't be as much like, yeah, I'm going to do that again. No, I'm ready for something new. But there will be some, that maybe they only got one kid. Maybe they never even got to have any kids, all different things. But there's going to be people who are way, way older than what we've ever understood who will be having kids. But you got to remember, they've got hundreds of years. There's not going to be, or isn't going to be the same limitations on living as what we have encountered previously throughout all of our, time here. And so, and I'm not even talking about the time in other ages, because all ages have had different scenarios. So, but in this, we've had very limited time but also as far as I'm concerned as a soul, it's this is pretty dark. How much time do you want here? I can't even believe 60 years is a lot. But I just, it's going to be so much better when we switch. If it had to be like this, man, I can see why people are 70, 80 and they're just like, oh, take me home, daddy. I'm like, get me out of here. I do that a lot. But this tripped me out because, and I talked about it yesterday, the Dalai Lama. And, I don't remember what I said on here yesterday, but I am not even shitting you when they say this has gone viral, it is no shit. It's like every fucking other video that you see, and it's disgusting. It's disgusting. I'm so fucking sick of seeing it. God, it's so gross. And, any adult who's been in any kind of sexual situation recognizes that look on this guy's face. It's like, dude, God, you sick motherfucker. And so, and like I said, I knew, I had already heard in 2020, I had already heard the Dalai Lama had charges, sexual stuff, and it was already all falling apart for me. I already was and, and it's sad. I had respect for, Buddhism, Hinduism, all of that. That is what I claimed as my religion. When everybody was like, you have to claim something. You can't just be out there and be vague. Be like, okay, well, I'm a Buddhist then. And because that was the only ones I knew of that believed in reincarnation. And so, I've got books with the fucking dude's face on it. And it's like, yeah, damn. So, I respected him as a religious leader, I thought. And, that whatever his name is, Siddhartha or whatever, that guru guy, the big white beard and the blue turban thing, that guy's rotten too. All these, I mean, there's been so many of these well-respected yogis and all of these people who have gotten themselves in positions of power who were perverts. It's all going to be exposed. We're going to see it all. And with him, I mean, it's not surprising. Like all of these people, like one of the things that Anonymous put out is Clarence, the justice guys, his Pornhub. They've got it, and they put it out there for everybody. So I don't even know what's on his, what the hell is he looking at? Who knows? But I think most people don't want everybody to know what their perversion is and what they're looking at by themselves. Maybe it's, who knows? I mean, that stuff is so fetishy. There's so many fetishes, and people just go into any, like, I don't have to worry about my impulses. I can just do whatever I want here. This place is so disgusting. They just, and these are judicial people. Like, these are people making the rules for the rest of us. But so anyways, that video just kept going and going and going. I was just getting so grossed out. And I was, different people doing different reaction videos and stuff. And the reaction that I kept hearing was really, really loud. And so I was listening to some different videos, and I was like, okay, I'm going to go in and say it. And so I went in and said, what they were telling me to say. And that was the video. It started going faster. It got up to 500 and something views. And I said, to the Dalai Lama, I just want to say, in more violent times, like in certain times, I would have just fucking reached in there and pulled your tongue right out of your fucking throat. And, I could feel it. Like, this wasn't just like I was trying to come up with something snappy. Like, I don't sit here and try and come up with lines and shit. Like, they just fucking feed them to me. And when I was, and a lot of people were coming, like one person came on and said I was a demon for saying that. And then somebody goes in and tells them, you don't know what the hell's going on in this world. It's like, I knew I didn't have to say anything. There's enough people who are going to be like, what the fuck is wrong with you? And, but people are saying, there's two different groups in this Dalai Lama situation. The people who knew and the people who are outraged. So I guess there's a lot of outrage of people who are just shocked and probably making excuses for him. But so, when I was sitting there thinking back on, communicating, and they made it clear to me about that it was it was like somebody speaking directly to him about a time that he needed to remember something, that he needed to, like, something was being brought up to him to remember. And I don't even know if he was going to see this, but it's the energy. I remember it's the energy that goes out. And so that's what they're working with. Like, they've got limitations too. And so that was like in my head already, like that okay, so it is that there was some kind of violence or something, and so they're speaking out back to him. And so I was like, okay, I could totally get what was going on. And so then this is what was trippy, was so then this morning when I go on, and this guy comes on and he starts explaining stuff. And this was stuff I didn't know. And so the Lamas were a secular group that was a very controlled place. Like, they were, it was very, very hostile. Like, anything, they said, like, if somebody, if somebody's starving and stole some bread, they would cut off their hands. And so in this place, that the hiss guy, that guy, he went there because he wanted to get information from there, because everything was so controlled there. And it was something, the guy, I think he was saying it was like a secular or something. It was very, it was something that he wanted to go see. Like, so how do you guys do this? How do you keep everybody under such control? And the big thing that they noticed when they got there was so many people were missing limbs, hand, like a lot of people were missing tongues and eyes and stuff, and hands. And so I was just like, what the fuck? When he was sitting there saying that, I was like, oh my God, it makes so much sense, because I could tell there was somebody speaking through me that was like, hey, don't forget what you did to us, bitch. And so it was like, oh my God, that totally tripped me out. And because I had no idea, I'm sitting there thinking like the Dalai Lama's living up on the fucking hill with the monks, and they're all sitting there, in quiet time, and, not being, doing this other stuff. But no, it was very controlled, and they were like evil, horrible. So the CIA hired the Dalai, and in the swaz, the tika, that thing where I had always heard, well, that they had stolen that symbol because it was really a spiritual symbol. So this guy said, it's not a spiritual symbol. When people say that, that's bullshit. He said it is to show the sun, and then the where it goes up in angles and goes across like that, that is man over matter. That is man's control over the natural, control over the it's, man in competition with nature, in competition with God. So it's to go up and show that you have conquered, you're over God now. That's what it represents. I didn't know that. That's definitely not spiritual. Spiritual stuff is about harmony and being in the energy of harmony. I don't know what else to call it. And so anything about controlling others, and that's why I say these people who jump on this control wagon, it's the opposite of what a spirit will do. So you're already, you're not working on your spiritual side. You're working on your ego. You're controlling. Why do you need to control somebody else? It's out of ego. And ego because you feel vulnerable, you feel attacked, you feel whatever. Those are your things to work out, to try and figure out for yourself. And so the other thing that, so they hired the Dalai in the 50s the CIA did. And so he was always used as, he's not what people think. And it is not, none of that stuff is what people think. It is all about control, manipulation, and all these different people are perverts who want to just control us. They don't care about us. And they, as much as they go out and try and pretend like they do. And so, I don't know, the Dalai, the Pope, all these guys are going down. I mean, they're all going down. They're all going to be exposed as to the weird, sick stuff they were into. What was hidden will not be hidden anymore. What was hidden will be shown. And like I said, there's a lot of beings that are hanging around here for this. There's a lot of other beings. And where these people, like so many people, don't get, like, our spirit is not, like my spirit is not just Kelly. It's not just this white woman. It is, my spirit is of so many different lives and so many, I'm not going to say so many different colors because it's mostly brown. Like I mostly, when I get visions of different lives, they're brown in all of them. I mean, I think this is the only one I can even think of where I'm white. Well, there's one too where it was like a cowboy look. I think it was like cowboy times. The one where I didn't see very much of it. I just knew that I was screwed over by people and I was hung. And So I don't know about the whole thing that led up to it, but you have so many different ones, and it's not like you're really going in and actually living them. It's just like reading the books. It's just the stories, but we absorb into, we create the story, but the story is written. But man, it's hard to explain. It's hard to explain until you just see it and understand it. And then it just is like, oh, it just makes sense. So, because a story is written, it is the writing of the story. That is the creation of the possibilities. So it is where the contracts and stuff, where it's all designed. Then you come in and experience it. So you can see, like, well, how did it work out? Do I like it? How did that work? What was I like? What did I do? Who was I? So you can witness yourself. You got to imagine, like, if all you are is energy and you're trying to understand who and what you are, you're going to keep going into this, like these dreams to play these parts so that you can understand who you are. But it's way more developed than dreams. Like, this is like literally, I mean, this is like a hologram. It's like a game. You have to be birthed into it. It's a whole thing. And the birthed into it is the players. Like, I mean, because you still got these people hanging out here. But also it has to do with vibration and stuff like that. Like I said, the people who are higher vibration, it's a challenge for them to come in and be down here in this low vibration. And that's why I think that they're probably staying in the skies until we make the vibration higher, so it is more comfortable. And I had just seen a thing too where somebody was saying in 2024, and I don't know if this is a government thing, a NASA thing, I think it was the CIA. Oh, it was, yeah. This was a CIA document out of all of their stuff they've been releasing. And they said in 2024, like, they've been trying to figure out the day, the time, the hour of when this is going to occur. Every 12,000 years, this reset that I've been saying. There's a big fucking reset. The planet is going to change. And so that is coming, the event, the solar flash, whatever, however this is all going to go down. They said it's going to be tsunamis and it's going to be water events. It's going to change our landscape of the planet. And they're saying it's going to be in 2024. And that's what, man, still, oh yeah, because I didn't even finish with I ended up even doing the turpentine yesterday. I've sat here just burping up and no worms coming out. There's still something crawling around in my fucking face and shit. And other parts, like, I swear to God, there's nanobots inside of me. But let me think what I was talking about before the nanobots. Because the fucking disgusting. It's back to the disgusting too. Like, when you keep burping up that turpentine. Ugh, God, so gross. It's just like drinking pine Sol. It's so sick. Oh God, I'm so grossed out right now. Anyways, what was I saying about the other thing before I interrupted myself? The vibration. So the other beings, because they can't come down here while it's low vibration. And so, okay, yeah, 2024. Okay, so in 2024, when they say all this stuff is going to go down, that's why I'm saying there is a rush. Like, they would drag this out. And it would work to their benefit as far as they're concerned, for these big storms, this big dramatic thing to happen and kill a lot of people. And then, the rest of us would be so scared. We'll do whatever you say. Just save us, please. It's like, dude, that's not going to happen. It's not going to come out of my mouth. I'd be like, bug, I'll run out in the storm, get the hell out of this place. The last thing I want is these people's help. And but what I do think is going to happen, that I've been saying, is it has something to do with this freedom city. For him to all of a sudden, out of the blue, to start pushing on his freedom cities right after they said the 15-minute cities. Well, the 15-minute cities was going for a couple months. before he started talking about the freedom cities. But once he started talking about that and the 11 places and stuff like that, I was like, okay, so the plan is to get people into a safer place. And that's what I think it's going to, and I think that is what there's a certain push too, because that there needs to be, a lot of people need to be moved into places that are going to be off the coastline, like California. And I don't know how it's all going to go down. Like, they know because they had Looking Glass, so they kind of have a general idea of how things are going to go down. Is there going to be a big earthquake that's going to be very dramatic? It's going to shock everybody. And then they are going to be more willing to start moving out of that area and start getting into safer places. Because I think they're going to do it not by creating fear. They're going to do it as more of a, and like I said, it's going to be the people who are open, people who aren't biased, people who are, wanting a certain lifestyle. Those people would be the ones who will go. So right there, it's going to kind of weed out these, a certain group of people. It's going to kind of, the weeding is a natural process, if you get what I'm saying. And so I think what they're going to do is get where they're kind of moving people again, where it's going to seem kind of a natural thing that they're doing. So it's not going to seem so much like, hurry, everybody, we're about to have a major thing happen. I think they're trying to get people prepared and stuff without scaring people. But, we'll see. But anyway, so they're saying, and the CIA is saying in 2024. So where a lot of people have been saying 2024, like astrology people and stuff like that. But we're already in this time of change. And so that is why so much is coming up to provoke and to promote you to change, to look at things differently, to see yourself differently, to see yourself independently from groups, to see yourself, strong and who you are. All these, this is the defining of you. So you are in your process. It has nothing to do with anybody else. Don't listen to people coming in, oh, well, if you're spiritual, you would do this. If you're this, you would do that. No, that's you. You do you. I'll do me. That's all you got to worry about. You have a design inside that will lead you if you listen to that. And if you're listening with your ears out here trying to please others, then you're off track. When you connect to yourself will lead you right where you need to go. But I do think that they're going to have like a non-hysterical kind of way to start moving people into safer places. And, there's supposed to be this big thing with the Mississippi. It's going to become huge. And the whole West Coast is going to be chopped. And New York is going to have a bad water. I mean, they're going to have a bad thing that's going to happen there too. And probably Florida. I mean, there's going to definitely be parts of Florida that are going to be underwater. So anyways, there's places where a lot of people are that they have to start moving. And a lot of people are not of high vibration. So this kind of is a natural occurrence because we're not going to be filling cities with people who are corrupted in their mind and spirit. Those people, will go and cross over so that they can regain composure, and come back and as themselves or somebody else. Like, I don't know how it's all going to go when they say it's going to be like heaven on earth. I think people are going to be able to just come back. Like, I think that the veil being lifted in the firmament being, it's like our bubble. Once our bubble is opened, once we make it where the vibration's high enough that we are an energy that is open, that is when we go into this galactic federation thing and stuff. But that the people who are the toxic people holding it back, they'll just cross out. But the people who are positive, then I think people will just be able to come and go. It will be like a heaven, like what we think of as the heavens. There will be where people there won't be death like what we have thought, because death was a created thing. It wasn't ever real. And so, and the way they just want to kill people quicker and quicker. I mean, at this point, all they want is this mass group of people who are just the robots. That's all they really want. And so, they'd like to kill us all off and just keep the robots, because that's their. And there's a whole thing now with some other kind of thing that they're implanting, and they're doing it with the thing is that they create criminals so that they have subjects, and they've done it in all of the asylums, the prisons, all of that stuff. People who they think as not worthy, then they just do whatever they want to them. Like, I mean, telling prisoners, yeah, you want out, then give us an organ. You want out of here, give us your eyes. It's sickening. But now they're putting some sort of implant in, that this implant can go in and read your memories, your thoughts, some sort of thing, because they're trying to get our consciousness. They're competing with God. They're trying to get our consciousness and trap it so that they can dissect it, understand it, use it. It's like, why aren't you using your own? Why is this push always on us? We don't care about this stuff. We just want to go out and live our lives. Y'all are the ones who are, crazy. So that energy and stuff, their labs will blow up. Like, I've seen the one, like a robot killed 24 scientists and stuff. Like, there'll be more and more of that kind of stuff. CERN right now is on the headlines, with the people. Who knows what's on the media. But that they cranked it up full blast with this full moon. And that people are having all sorts of weird experiences and stuff. Hopefully that machine will just suck them in and shoot them out somewhere else. But there's going to keep being, it is like nature is weeding out the vibration of, so if you care about people, you care about yourself, you are a loving, kind person who would rather go out and, smile at somebody than go out and say, hey, I really don't like you. I don't like how you look. I don't like it, If that is your main concern, then you're not ready for the upgrade. You're still in that other kind of toxic world. So anyways, that toxic world is going away naturally. It's not something that we have to go out and fight and do. All these different things that are threats. Like right now, there's so much stuff showing the camaraderie that is happening with China, Russia. I had no idea Putin's so tiny. He's a really tiny guy. Even up next to Xing Shang or whatever his fucking name is, the CCP guy. He's so tiny to him. I thought that guy was small. But Putin's a really tiny little guy. And he is such a strong, powerful person. Like, man, I remember back when I very first started hearing about him, and he'd be riding a horse with no shirt, and all the people were just like, oh my God, he's such a hero. They loved him, supposedly, but who knows with the propaganda. But, I think that he has gotten a lot of bad press, just like Trump gets. Like, they pick these people that they want to make the bad guy, and they turn him into, a joke to people. It's, but anyways, there's been a big show about that. Same with Kim Jong-un is hanging out with them and stuff. So, is in the people who are here start getting real like, oh my God, they're going to kill us. They're going to kill us, freaking out and stuff. And so all of that stuff, though, you got to remember, it's all a big part of the show. It's so people start understanding, what's going on with the money and stuff. But, a lot of people don't look very deep into it. So anyways, it's all gonna be going. And one thing too is when I hear these people say, oh, Nisara, that is a psyop. That's bullshit. Don't listen to people talking about that. Yeah, we're going into, and they'll start in with their stuff. And, but, just remember, Gasara is already happening in all these other countries. So Explain that then. If there's no Nasara, then how is Gasara already happening? No, Nasara is happening. It has to occur in a certain way just because of mass hysteria and the ignorance of the mass populace, that they are misdirected and they have no idea what's going on in the world. So things have to play out in a certain way. And, you know, we have a huge population here, and same with Canada. And so they have us combined with, and it's not surprising at all, England, Australia, Canada, America, and I think another one. I can't remember what the other one. But so, you know, think about it. That's a lot of fucking people. And, you know, I mean, I think that a lot of the countries that this group of countries, they are, you know, kind of more countries what people looked up to or something, because, you know, a lot of those other countries are really, really small, you know, and these are pretty big ones. And England isn't very big, but it is always going to be right up at the top of the thing because of the crown and the control and stuff like that. So they are a significant part of the whole play. So anyways, you know, however it's going to go down, it's going to, you know, somehow play out. And, you know, maybe it will be a threat, you know, that Hawaii moment, like I had said before, where everybody is panicking because we're about to be nuked, and then, you know, something will happen. And but all of this stuff is going down. The collapse of the money, that's happening. It is, but it is the good thing, because then we get to go and be free from this controlled, manipulative money system that was put in place just to make us slaves. And you know, and how hard right now they're pushing in Canada, especially. Like, if you're homeless, just get in the maid, dude. We don't have time for this. And it just is mind-boggling. Like, these are the same people who told us that you will go to hell forever if you kill yourself. And, you know, in Canada, a very socialized place. And now it's like, well, we don't really, you know, we can't really do anything else for you. Just do something for us. You know, we need to spray some crops. Just get inside the box. And then plus, you know, they want to trap that consciousness so that they can go in and, you know, whatever it is that they're trying to do. You know, if it's trying to man their clone people that they're making, like, I have no idea. I think that they're trying to do stuff with the merging of man and machine. So they're trying to take our consciousness and put it in with machine. Like, I don't know. These people are just wacky. It's like, why can't you just come in and just live your life? Like, why is that so fucking hard? Why are you trying to compete? Trying to figure out, like, oh, so there's a God? Well, I'm a God. It's like, you're a fucking egomaniac who doesn't know how to enjoy life. And, you know, people sit here and worship these people. It's like mental. And so, anyways, I've been talking a long time. But hopefully I said some stuff that made some sense. And see, like, so you can see what is happening, how it's happening, how it's naturally going to occur. It's a weeding out. It's a dropping off the vibration. That's why I keep telling you to do your work. You know, focus on healing and stuff. That is going to have a real purpose to that. You know, and there's going to be a lot of people who are, you know, they may be a high enough vibration that they'll be ready to start their healing. But it's going to be starting from a very hard place. And they have a lot to get through. So just, you know, just, there's a lot. And it's going to keep being a lot. And there's going to keep being stuff exposed. And there's going to keep being gross out stuff that you can't get out of your head once you've seen it. It's like, oh my God, what in the hell? If this guy's doing this in front of all these people and they're clapping, yay, yay, get me in line. I want to suck a tongue. It's like, well, if they're doing this out in public, what the fuck are they doing behind closed doors? Like, man, I swear, you just see the look in his eye, how bad he wants that kid. Ugh, God, it's disgusting. So, anyways, have a good day, and, you know, just try and keep your spirits up. Remember, it's all about your attitude. It's all about the mastery of self, and, you know, just keep understanding everything has purpose. Everything has a reason. And don't fight destiny. Destiny has its own way of playing things out, and you'll just drive yourself crazy trying to force it to be something that it's not. So anyways, another day for us to get, another Groundhog Day to get through. So hopefully something big will happen and will move us into this new area, but it's got to be getting closer and closer. I mean, if they're saying this is going to go down in 2024, where, you know, the whole everything's going to change with this giant event. The event is what I had heard about all the way back when I first started waking up in 2015. And so, and it totally freaked me out. It was some sort of a sun thing. You know, it's an energetic thing, and it's going to be, but, you know, I don't know. I just know that it is going to be, there's something with the sun. There's something with energy. There's something that is going to happen, and it is the reset. It is the cataclysm that moves us into the actual new age, when we actually start living in the new age. So anyways, we'll see how it all plays out, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.